Hello, this is a brief video about my thoughts regarding the coronavirus, what can be done to protect against it. This is Dr. Ellie Klein, and this video has come about after having been asked by a client what you can do to protect yourself against the virus. And she also asked me, why have I not been sending out educational emails recently? So I figured, you know what, this is an opportunity to address her question and also share the information with everyone else. And so it is certainly has been on the news, and a lot of people are concerned. And what it is, it's a respiratory virus. The symptoms are very similar to other respiratory viruses. And so I would think that a lot of the things that you would do to protect yourself against other respiratory viruses would apply here as well. I think that perspective is important. And typically, complications occur in people who are extremely immunodepressed, who have a very depressed immune system. Usually, people who also have multiple health issues simultaneously. And up until now, what about the last numbers that I've read, were 6,000 people infected or diagnosed as infected with 123 fatalities. I would think that there are many, many more infected people who haven't been diagnosed or identified, and the mortality rate is about 2 to 3%. So it's not non-existent, and it's low and it's not. But I would wonder what was the state of health of the individuals that perished from the virus. But let me get to some suggestions. So, you got to support the immune system. So you got to just do the basics, right? From a nutritional point of view, the same thing that applies to chronic disease and heart disease applies here too. Trying to avoid vegetable oil because it has a suppressive effect on cells of the body. It prevents the cells of the body, prevents them from producing adequate energy to function properly, and that applies to immune system cells as well. And so avoiding vegetable oil is really important, and nourishing yourself well with plenty of fruits and vegetables and root vegetables and healthy grains. So getting healthy sources of glucose, because that's the primary type of fuel of immune system cells. And having adequate protein as well is important. So healthy types of protein, whether from animal-based or vegetarian, but just trying to avoid processed food that, again, is like the vegetable oil, suppresses and depresses the immune system. So eat healthy, very basic things. And stress is also something that suppresses the immune system. So trying to manage stress really well, trying to minimize stress, sleeping well, trying to get enough sleep, doing things that bring you joy and uplift the spirit is really important. Being in fear and being concerned over the situation isn't going to necessarily serve you, because too much fear is basically too much stress that depresses the immune system. As far as specialized nutrients go, it's the same stuff that you would use to fortify your immune system against other respiratory viruses. So the basics: vitamin C. Doctors that recommend the use of vitamin C for respiratory issues, for immune issues, would recommend several thousand milligrams of vitamin C. And I got to say that as I share this information, I need to state that I'm not treating anyone here. I'm just providing information. It's up to you what you do with it. So just wanted to get that out of the way. So yeah, just supplementing with a few thousand milligrams of vitamin C can help fortify the immune system. Vitamin D, the sunshine vitamin, we don't get flus and colds in the summer, not as much as in the winter time. Vitamin D is really important for the immune system. Moreover, vitamin D actually has a direct antiviral effect on envelope viruses, so different types of viruses. And the coronavirus is an envelope virus. It has this type of envelope that protects it, it uses to try to protect itself from the immune system. And so vitamin D targets that. And adequate levels of vitamin D is important. So testing your vitamin D levels would be really helpful. Most people, well, I don't know if most people will be deficient, but certainly a lot more people will be deficient than have excess vitamin D. But nonetheless, testing your vitamin D levels could be useful. And the allowable upper limit for over-the-counter use of vitamin D is about 1,000 international units, which in my mind isn't enough for most people. I would say several thousand international units of vitamin D would be more practical, more useful. But again, I'm not treating anyone. Use this information and choose what to do with it as you like. So really, really important vitamin for sure. And what else? Vitamin A, extremely important for the prevention of complications from respiratory viral infections. There are so many studies that have shown its benefit for not only preventing and decreasing the severity of viral infections, it prevents the complications of viral infections in serious infections like the measles, for example. Sufficient vitamin A is really important. Now, the reference daily value for vitamin A is about 10,000 international units, if I'm not mistaken. And, or that's the upper limit, I should say. And the studies that show benefit of vitamin A use approximately 50 to 100,000 international units. As far as safety goes, the scientific literature shows that for a short period of time, there's typically no problem with that. It's when we use too much vitamin A for a very long period of time, over months, that we get into trouble. But again, I'm not treating you here. And if you're really concerned, if you're starting to show symptoms of respiratory viral infections, then speak to your health practitioner about perhaps using high dosages of vitamin A for at least for a short period of time. And as far as food sources of vitamin A go, liver, beef liver is by far the richest source of vitamin A, as well as eggs and full fat dairy products. You can also get it from vegetarian sources as beta carotene, which is converted to vitamin A, from orange and yellow vegetables like carrots and peppers and so on, squash. But people with low thyroid function don't convert beta carotene to vitamin A very well. So keep that in mind. And zinc and copper are also very important. Zinc fortifies the immune system, really good for respiratory health issues, for upper and lower respiratory conditions. And if you were to supplement, I'm not a keen proponent of supplementing with high dosages of zinc because it can also be an oxidizing agent in the blood. So if you're going to supplement, I recommend using small dosages incrementally, so maybe 5-10 milligrams at a time. But you can also get plenty of zinc from food, particularly from oysters and from beef and from poultry. And you can also get it from shiitake mushroom and other vegetarian sources. But those are the three most high sources of zinc. And copper is another really important one. In fact, I did recently, just yesterday or the day before, read about copper arresting development arresting development of the coronavirus. And good sources of copper include beef liver, where a single serving of about 4 ounces would be plenty for about 6 to 7 days. And other really good sources are oysters and shiitake mushroom again, and sweet potatoes and tofu, I believe, as well. So those are the high sources of copper. So these nutrients particularly are important. I'm sure there are others, but those are, for me, those are the most important ones. And of course, there are different types of herbs and botanicals that can help as well. I don't believe that, or I certainly haven't seen any studies on specific botanicals and their effect on coronavirus, because I think it's a bit too early. But you know, your the usual ones, the usual suspects that have been shown to be helpful: garlic and onion. Elderberry is really good for viral infections, and there are a whole bunch of others. So, but again, I don't know of any specific ones that target the coronavirus specifically. Hopefully, this was helpful. And if you have any questions, please do go ahead and then ask me. You can do so either by email or if there's space under the video, comment section, you can do it there. Thank you for watching.